This is Toledo Symphony Lab, a behind-the-scenes look at the world of classical music from WGTE Public Media and your Toledo Symphony. I'm Brad Cresswell, and joining me in the studio today are the Toledo Symphony's president and CEO, Zach Vassar, principal second violin and artistic administrator, Merwin Sue, and the TSO's director of marketing, Vanessa Gardner. Welcome, everyone, and we said it last week, but now the time has passed, so we are in the middle of 2022, the middle of the first week of 2022. So a big Happy New Year, Happy 2022 to everyone here.
Happy New Year!
Yeah, I think you can do better.
That was a
than
little,
that.
yeah. Come on, you can
Let's
do better
try
than
again.
that. Happy New Year!
Excellent.
Wow, that was well timed.
Excellent. We're off to a good start. So we have, sort of the core group of folks here, panelists in Toledo Symphony Lab today, and we have some things to talk about. In our New Year's episode, we talked about looking forward to what was going to happen in 2022. Now we're kind of looking back at the best of 2021, right? Mm-hmm. So the year is in the books. It's passed, maybe a little bit better in some books than others for 2020. We made some progress this past year. So what I would like to do is have some discussions about how 2021 shaped up for all of us and in general, right? So there's different points of discussion here. I've also got a quiz that is taken from different quizzes that we did last year, right?
Oh.
So that kind of fits in this theme of
It's like a
going
sitcom.
back.
It's like a sitcom clips show.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just that the past comes back to haunt me again. It's like losing again for the first time.
And I do have some clips, indeed. So
Can
this
you
is
change my answers in the past?
I can change them. I can
Give it a
change them
second
later. It'll be like you'll answer, and then
and then I'll hear
sudden,
myself answer incorrectly.
Yeah,
twice.
or you'll hear me like doing my Zach impersonation.
Can I hear that?
Yeah, no, I have to work on it. We'll figure it out. You can hear it like everybody else when we do the edited podcast, right? When
We don't edit our podcast.
Are we doing this backwards? I know. I'm sorry I wasn't with you guys last week, but shouldn't we have looked back on 21 in 21 and forward to 22 in 22?
Well, no, we're looking backwards because 21 is already finished, so we can look on it. 22
So we had to
is
get
just
through
getting
all
started.
of 21 in order to look back on it.
Yeah.
Because something must have happened, last week.
This is dangerously close to math, right? So I don't think that I can contribute.
I don't have a flux capacitor or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Or my slide rule.
Well, as they say,
handy-dandy.
hindsight is 2021 vision.
I'll see you in 22.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's start our first point of discussion. We want to talk about things that you are proud of or best moments from 2021. We're just going to throw some stuff out there randomly. I asked you guys to come up with a list of things that you were the most proud of or that were the best moments for you over this past year. Merwin, you want to jump in and tell us a little bit?
Well, those are two different moments. Things that I'm proud of versus best moments per se.
Let me get in some music for you.
Sure. I will let the listening audience decide whether this was something I'm proud of or a best moment. But we didn't actually get to discuss this too much on the podcast. But John Legend visited Toledo, Ohio, and that was certainly a week.
Yeah.
And certainly a memory that I will talk about and a story that I'll share, and that a lot of things, a lot of balls in the air to juggle, and a lot of some really cool kind of collaborative moments with his team and with the amazing team at the Toledo Museum of Art, and with some of my great friends and colleagues here at the Symphony, and all of the organizations that TMA reached out to, and then the Bowling Green State University Voices Choir. And so just that was a moment that I certainly will look back on.
Yeah.
And really,
you say there's a story there, right?
Yeah, I'm
A
sure I'll
story you can
eventually tell that
Okay.
story.
But not today. You're not telling the story today. Oh, well.
It'll become a legend.
Well,
We have something to look forward to.
But I think I just heard a sneak peek of the story, though. If you listen very carefully to what Merwin just told us, is that he juggled during the John Legend concert. So I think if you were there, first of all, congratulations. It was a very difficult ticket to get, but I hope you appreciated the circus act.
Yeah, totally. Look forward to that. Vanessa, you want to say something?
It's a little silly, but I really had fun with Alain Trudel's return. And we did a fun video of him pulling up and getting out of his car and then getting changed for the concert. And we didn't film that part. And coming out and walking on stage. And we got a lot of chuckles from the audience. And that was just really fun. And, we kind of put together some of our learned video editing skills that we picked up this past year. And we just had a blast with it, and it was cute. So
this is like the perfect walk-on music for Elaine, right?
totally.
In that video.
Absolutely.
It captured his personality and the moment,
Right.
I think, really well.
Yeah.
The overarching theme of this past year has been, when are we going to get back to as close to normal as we can get to, and when are we going to have people coming back into the concert hall again, and you saw a lot of that happening. Mm-hmm. Zach, you want to tell us about any favorite moments that you're proud of the past year?
Just thinking about two things you both said, if I can ruminate on those for just a second. One, having Alain come back, I wrote it down as Trudel returns. He's so important to us, and going through the entire 2021 season without him was so challenging. But then in May of 21, he finally got back to Toledo, and that's the concert that Vanessa's talking about. But I just remember how much our missing team member was back, hearing him laughing in the office, hearing him just inspiring people as he collaborated with them, and that's something that can't necessarily transmit over Zoom. And we did a lot of Zoom, trust me. But that's a huge part of my 21.
Yeah.
But Brad, you just said something interesting about thinking about the video and how it aligned so much with his personality. I think that 21 was also kind of the year where we were trying to figure out, is it okay to laugh again? Are we coming back to normal? Is this a good environment? Is this a fearful environment? Is this even a happy environment? And I think as we look back on that year, that'll be the year of massive transition and getting our feet back on the ground, not just as an organization, but as a people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. And hard to keep reading the room when the room is constantly changing.
That's right. Yeah, it's like walls don't exist. There might not even be a floor.
Yeah, totally. I want to do the first round of this quiz, and this gives us an opportunity to go back and reminisce a little bit on some of these former episodes that we had during this past year. The first one I've got here is from the episode Strings from the Silver Screen. You remember that, where we had conductor Enrico Lopez Yanez?
I was not on that show, so if I get this wrong, don't use it against me.
Okay. This was a Mozart movie quiz that I did.
Oh, Amadeus.
Yeah, so I gave three. No, you're behind already, Zach.
How could he have gotten the question wrong before the question was answered?
I gave three different clues as to what this
That's
film
how bad
was. I am. And then you answer with the name of the film, okay?
Got it, yeah.
All right. This film featured an Oscar-nominated score by Elmer Bernstein, which was based on The Marriage of Figaro. And actually, if you know this one, go ahead and say it. It was originally meant to star Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. A comedy about an upper-class commodities broker and a poor street hustler. What was it? 2 words. Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy. Anybody get it? Nobody got it? Trading Places. Remember that film?
No.
And it's about Mozart?
Well, this is a Mozart movie quiz, so Mozart's music was used in the soundtrack, right?
Got it.
Yeah, okay. Nobody got that one. All right.
Still.
Our second one, fantasy
It'd be really funny
music.
if one of these two got that correct in the actual podcast. I hope
Yeah, I don't remember for sure who got it right. Do you guys remember if you were even in this podcast?
That question is not familiar to me, so I don't think I was.
Yeah.
The sad thing is, I think I was there.
Yeah, I think you were there. I think you were there for this one, too, which was a fairy tale quiz when we did the fantasy music episode. Nancy Lendrum was the guest. She's the principal harp at TSO. Okay, here is the one question from the fairy tale quiz. The title character is named for a type of salad greens. Remember who this is? It was their name, very well-known name of a fairy tale character, actually means salad greens, a type of salad green. Okay, they were raised by a witch. And they have really long hair. Who would that be?
Rapunzel?
Yes, Rapunzel.
That's a salad green?
Yeah, evidently a Rapunzel is some kind of salad green.
I think you made that up.
I may have made that up. Okay. Our next, so that one goes to Zach. All right. Zach is ahead by 1. Excellent.
Way to start the year.
Remember when we had William Eddins on the second
yes.
time? Yeah.
Yep.
He was great fun as a guest on the podcast. We did a Beethoven beer quiz for that episode, right? So I'm going to take one of the random questions from that Beethoven beer quiz. Okay, this is multiple choice. Beethoven's teachers in Vienna were Haydn and Albrechtsberger. Which 2 states did not legalize home brewing until 2013? Was it Mississippi and Alabama? Was it Tennessee and Georgia? Or was it Colorado and Utah? Which of those pairs of states did
Colorado
not
and Utah.
legalize? Colorado and Utah is no. That's a no.
I'm going to go with the Mississippi one.
Mississippi and what?
Was it Alabama?
That's right. Yes, Merwin.
I remember because I guessed Colorado and Utah the previous time.
So Merwin gets that one.
I love that quiz because you disjointed them so beautifully.
Yeah.
Statement about Beethoven, unrelated question about beer.
And vice versa. Vice versa. We did that as well. Okay. Our next one and final one for this round, the podcast episode, was for the concert To the Moon and Back with John Morris Russell, conductor of the, what is it? The
Cincinnati
Pops. Yeah. Conductor of the Cincinnati Pops. Took over for Eric Kunzel after he passed.
Was that the quiz?
Yes, that was the quiz. All right, goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.
See you next week. So this was our Valentine's Day episode, right? So we had a Valentine's Day quiz. This was the more complicated question from that quiz, okay? The Valentine quiz. You have to match the color of the rose to their meaning. So there are 6 different colors of roses: black, white, blue, lavender, yellow, or green. So we're going to go through, and you're going to tell me which color belongs to which meaning. Okay,
Black,
so there are
white.
several opportunities here to get points.
Can you repeat the colors?
Black, white, blue, lavender, yellow, or green. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll read through the list of what each color stands for, and then you just put what color you think next to the...
Sorry, I have 7. Do you have 7?
1, 2,
Next to
3,
the
4,
list.
5, 6. Black, white, blue, lavender, yellow, green.
Oh, I added red for some reason.
Yeah, we're not doing red. It's Valentine's Day. Everybody knows what the red rose stands for. Here,
Okay.
these are non-red colors. Okay. A heart unacquainted with love. Which color is that? Unacquainted with love.
Do
Okay.
we blurt this out or do we write it down?
No, just write it down. Jealousy and infidelity, which was actually the old meaning. Now it means friendship, right? Okay. Mystery and intrigue. What color is that? Love at first sight. What color would that be? Rejuvenation of spirit. What color is that? And rebirth and new beginnings. What color is rebirth and new beginnings? Okay, so you've got all of those. We'll go back to the beginning. We'll just see if you got any of these right, okay? A heart unacquainted with love is the color white.
Yay.
Anybody got that?
Ding.
Zach? Okay. Jealousy and infidelity. The
Yellow.
old meaning. Now it means
Yellow.
friendship. That's yellow. Everybody get that? You got it, Vanessa?
Nope.
Okay. Mystery and intrigue was blue.
Yep.
You both got that? Merwin and Zach. Vanessa,
Yes.
did you get that? No. Okay, love at first sight was lavender.
Oops.
Anybody get that?
Zach got that one?
Nope.
No,
No,
nobody.
I didn't get it.
That
Okay.
one is blue.
All right, rejuvenation of spirit is green.
Yay.
Yep.
Yeah, did you get that, Vanessa?
I sure didn't.
Okay, excellent. Rebirth
any of
and new
them.
beginnings. The only color left on the
Black.
board is black.
Did not get that.
Anybody get black? Just Zach. Zach got black?
Yep.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Zach. 1, 2, 3 for Merwin.
No, that doesn't make
That
sense.
doesn't make sense.
No, I had to get something backwards. I had mystery was lavender and Blue. So I think I have 4.
Mystery and Intrigue was blue. Did you get that one?
No.
Oh, I had you listed as heavy.
I think I said yes, but I'm wrong. I can't.
That's the mystery
All
part.
right.
Did he get it? Did he not?
Give you a lavender flower and we'll find out.
So you got 1, 2,
3,
so
4.
Zach got 4.
Yeah.
And Merwin got 3.
Yeah.
So right now Merwin is at 4 and Zach is at 5 for the whole quiz.
That won't last long.
And that was just for the first round. Excellent.
My New Year's resolution was to guess less, and that just tumbled down the wayside at this point.
That's right. You said you were going to guess less and listen more.
I was guessing all over the place with those roses.
Yeah. Well, you listened to me give the answers. At least that's, part of listening. Let's talk about some of our favorite episodes of Symphony Lab over this past year. I know you guys picked out some of your favorites, and I got some clips here. Before that, let's talk about some of the episodes that I don't have excerpts from. Merwin, you gave me a couple of different options here, and one of them was when we had Chelsea Tipton on. Mm-hmm. Why did you go for that one?
Well, I thought it was a really great chance for us to speak about some of the very important strides that we had made, as well as, and more importantly, the strides that we needed to continue making, kind of on the path of making the orchestra kind of more diverse, more equitable, more inclusive. Yeah. But there was this one specific moment in the podcast which I thought is almost a historic moment, really, and it was the first time that Alain's daughter, Madeleine, made her appearance on the soundboard. She'd appeared, on the radio
in
show
real
before,
life,
in real time, but
yeah.
then you integrated her into the fabric of the show.
And here it is.
Good job, guys.
That's one. And then I had another one. This is the stinger if we don't do as good of a job.
Guys, we can do better than that.
I hope you know how much that is around the office.
And we say all of those things.
And it's the pregnant pause in between, you can do better than that.
Yes, totally. It's like the catchphrase.
Yeah.
It is.
The Toledo Symphony catchphrase. Those are great. Well, now, Vanessa, what were your favorite moments?
I really enjoyed having Kareem Rustam on the show. Just hearing his stories about his upbringing and his time in Syria and how that made it into his music. I loved every single minute. I could have listened to him talk for days.
Yeah.
It was
Kareem
really...
Rustam, the composer, we should say, for folks who didn't catch that concert or that episode.
This would have been in, I think, early to mid-November.
Yeah.
Just a wonderful conversation.
Absolutely.
Not very long ago. I mean, it's so unusual to get a living composer talking about their music, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not like the kind of situation where you can say, well, I really think you meant to do this. You have to, you take from them what they have to offer. And in his case, he had such a compelling story and thought process that went into this extremely literary-minded piece of music, a clarinet concerto on the surface, but really had a story to tell.
And I think that we talk about trying to bring people, behind the scenes of classical music, and to be able to not just hear him speak about his inspiration, but to actually go inside the composer's workshop, really to hear him talk about trying to find the right percussion instruments, and then to be able to if you were able to listen to the podcast and then go to the concert, to hear those sounds and realize, oh my gosh, he did that by filling a sink in the basement and and putting together wood salad bowls together.
A basement of a percussion player that I happen to know.
That's right.
Was so cool.
Yeah.
Also creepy, but okay.
Folks have to go back and listen to the podcast to get that.
But it absolutely is worth it.
Yeah, that was
his
on my
name?
short list.
Like Bob or something like
Yeah,
that?
Bob.
Bob.
That's exactly it.
So if anybody wants to go back, it was the November 3rd podcast, and that was on my short list too. I just remember thinking how elegantly and eloquently Kareem spoke about his music. And I don't want to say that that's a surprise, because he's a wonderful composer, but it's not often that you have somebody who can speak about their craft in a way that still suggests that there's some mystery to the work that happens. And I think a lot of the listeners will think that there's a lot of magic that goes into composition, and sometimes it can be highly technical. But what I walked away from that conversation with was just a very sincere sense of Kareem as a person, but also the magic and the importance of music to him.
Yeah, completely. I want to listen to one of our clips from one of the shows. I know, Vanessa, you and Merwin both mentioned the podcast that we did with Nick Kendall from Time for Three. And a lot of great stuff on there. And Nick was such a good sport to come on and really, really share with us. Yeah, Zach, you have something to say?
But before we do, I was not on this episode. I feel like I missed a lot of good ones this year. They're all good ones. But I listened to this episode while out on a morning run, and I had so much fun listening to it. And it was a longer podcast than I had planned to jog, but I was having so much fun listening to it. Just like I was the guy on the UT Parks Trail laughing out loud as normal people walked by, but I went on a longer run. I extended the run so I got to the halfway point of the podcast, and then I turned around and ran back. But it was just a delight, and I was so impressed with that episode.
Here's the clip where Nick is talking about putting Time for Three together. Now let's switch gears a little bit. I'm going to bring back this lovely music because I want to hear about Time for Three. Your involvement with Time for Three. I mean, this started at Curtis, right?
It did, but why are you playing Pachelbel's Canon when you're introducing Time for Three?
Well, it's the only thing I got. Hang on. I can actually play you guys. I don't know if I have permission to play this or not.
Oh, you can play that, yeah.
This is one of your songs.
Oh, nice. Right? This is one of our latest tunes. Well, yeah, we started at Curtis. I mean, we were at this time when a lot of us, especially in this country, but obviously all around the world, when you're a young person and you're going to a public school, in my case it was a private school, but you have friends listening to a bunch of other styles of music, other genres, and you come from this super focused, kind of like a genre that you don't really understand as a young person because, you just are into, the hip and cool stuff. We were, all three of us have this similar story where we were practicing many, many hours this quote-unquote classical genre, right? But that all of our friends were listening to Nirvana and, like I said, I grew up outside of D.C. and it was a really rich hip-hop community. And there was also a wonderful bluegrass station on WAMU 88.5 here in D.C.
Yeah.
And I was listening to all of that, and so in order to fit in with our friends, we would do, I had rock bands. Charles Yang, who's in the band now, he was in a blues band in high school. Renan actually got introduced and fell in love with music through the language of jazz. So it was a real means to connect, and quite honestly, Brad, I mean, Vanessa and Merwin know this, but in the last 20 years, especially with the internet, but in the last 20 years, there's this huge wave of creative artists who are weaving in with the great masterworks, are weaving in the things that they want to play. It's going away from this genre being, it's supposed to be something, to more about the creativity, celebrating the rich history, the rich heritage that this music comes from, but also celebrating the moment and those two paired together, and that's really cool.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I love that he recorded his own audio and how clear it sounded.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, we had him. I mean, he was on the phone with us, but he sent me an audio later. It was like, hey, I got this recording of myself. If you want to use it. I was
awesome.
like, yeah.
Sounds great.
That's great.
Because it really communicates, more of his personality. And
it ties so well with the music. It's amazing that was spontaneous.
Yeah.
But it just felt like the music was a soundtrack to what he was
Truly.
saying, and I could feel the rises and falls with that, and I was like, I can't believe that this happened spontaneously.
Yeah,
It was really beautiful.
And now I've got that song in my head, and it's not going to go out for a while yet.
It's a good one.
But it's great that we're able to connect with these different personalities that come in and join the orchestra and offer their music to the community.
And I would also like to point out that he is the only special guest who went 0 points on the quiz.
Really?
Yeah, that's
was
partly why you were laughing so much when you were listening
Well,
to
he
it.
was
and
he was
joking.
very self-deprecating about it, and as somebody who's done that several times on this
Well,
show,
I'm 0 for 0 at the moment.
it was a quiz on famous trios, and
All right.
it was like he wasn't old enough to know who the Marx Brothers were.
Yeah. Or the Three Stooges or whatever. I mean, I didn't give it a second thought.
It was so funny.
That's what we do here. Let's do round 2 of our quiz. So who won that last round? Was it...
Not me.
Zach
Yeah,
by
Zach
one.
is up
was
by a
Zach.
nose.
Okay, all right. And the contest continues now. Remember the Postcards from Prague podcast that we did with Vinay Parameshwaran, conductor. He came here and led that concert. We had a Prague quiz. Okay, and I have to change this a little bit. So according to the Guinness Book of World Records, let me pull up a little music here. Yeah, that's good
It's
quiz
all
music.
about the
I like that.
bizounce today. This is an interesting thing here.
Yeah, that's all I got. Okay. Postcards from Prague. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, Prague has the largest what in the world? The largest what? 426 feet wide, 230 square feet of land, 2 million visitors every year.
Public park.
No,
Uh,
think medieval times.
bridge.
No, I'm not giving you any multiple choice, so we could be here all day.
Duomo.
Is it like a weapons museum?
No, it's not a weapons museum. No,
Brewery?
it's just a castle. Just a castle. Medieval times. And I'm not giving that to anybody.
You know
Okay.
what? That was not my next guest.
Well, it's a good thing that I put it out there then. All right. Well, we already talked about Chelsea Tipton, and he came here for a podcast called On Angel's Wings, which was the title of the concert that he did as well. Do you remember what the quiz was when we had Chelsea on? Because Chelsea has done so much work with Sting. We had a Sting quiz, right? So which of the following jobs did Sting have before his music career? Was it a bus conductor, a school teacher, or a construction worker? A, B, C, D, or E?
I think this is an all of
Yeah,
the
it's
above.
all the above.
Yeah. That was pretty easy. Zach, I like how you jumped in there very quickly. So I have to give it as a tie.
It's all right. Yeah.
All right.
I'll take it.
Okay. So the next one, Russian Romantics with Timothy Chewy, great
yeah.
violinist. Timothy is from Canada, so we had a Blame Canada quiz on that episode.
How did we do in that quiz?
And the idea is, I don't know who won that quiz, but we were outnumbered by the Canadians, I believe, in that.
Welcome to
You
my world.
usually are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody in this room except you and me right now.
So you had to invest. You had to invest. You had to guess. You had to guess who invented what. Okay, let me start that over. You had to guess. You had to guess the Canadian who invented an item. No, you had to guess which of these items in the list were invented by Canadians.
Hey, Brad,
okay?
do you want to try that again? Yeah.
No. I think I got it out there. All
You
right,
had to
Blame
guess
Canada.
which invention was a Canadian invention.
Yes.
Hawaiian pizza.
Multiple choice. I'm going to give you 3 of these items, and you tell me which of the 3 were invented by a Canadian, okay? Was it the garbage bag, the garbage disposal unit, or the garbage truck? And you get extra credit if you can tell me which one of those was created first.
Garbage
May not be with
disposal.
you. Yeah, garbage disposal was created in 1927. Okay, so which of those 3 were invented by a Canadian inventor? The
I'll go with
bag,
the garbage truck.
Garbage truck would be wrong. Wrong answer, Mr. Canadian. Okay, so you've got 2 left. Disposal unit or bag? What do you say, Vanessa?
I'm going to say bag.
The bag.
I
Yay!
mean, they invented milk bags.
Yes. Invented in 1950 by Winnipeg inventor Harry Wasilek. The disposal unit was invented in Wisconsin by John Hams. Okay. And
Of
that
course it was.
Yeah, and the garbage truck was in 1937 by George Dempster in Tennessee. That's where we get the word dumpster from, because it was famously the Dempster dumpster, right?
That makes me happy on some level.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which.
We all learned something today. Actually, I'm going to turn off this music because I'm going to bring in another little show clip here for our next question. This comes from the what do you call it? The
podcast?
St. Patrick's Day episode. This comes from the St. Patrick's Day episode that we did last year. And remember where we each had a leprechaun name? I assigned a leprechaun name to each of us. Now, you weren't there, Vanessa, so I did get a leprechaun name for you.
Oh, thank you.
Which I will unveil at the end of this little clip here. But this is everybody getting their leprechaun name. We also had Keith McWaters from the symphony come on and join us as well.
He already has a leprechaun name.
Well, because he has, like an Irish pedigree, obviously. So here we go with the leprechaun names. So these are our leprechaun names, okay? I don't necessarily expect you to go by these names for the rest of the podcast, but it might be kind of fun.
I'll just say it right now. I have no idea what it is, but that's going to be my name.
All right. My name is, you know what? Let me bring in a little bit of music here. Okay. My leprechaun name is Tweedle Greentooth.
Tweedle Greentooth. Well, that's what we call you anyway, so...
Tweedle Greentooth, yes.
You should really go see your dentist.
Zach, your middle name. Your leprechaun name is Little O'Gold.
Little O'Gold?
Little O'Gold.
Oh, that's a short joke if I ever heard one.
Keith McWaters, your leprechaun name is Keith McWaters. No. Your leprechaun name is Twitchy McPixie. I like that. Twitchy McPixie.
I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
Can I get a name tag? Is this? Can we get that?
Yes, I should have done the name tags. Oh well. Merwin, you shall henceforth be known as Minnie Twinkle Toes. I like that. Yeah.
Was it Minnie M-I-N-I or Minnie?
Minnie M-I-N-I.
I love it.
And we saved Enrico for the last one. Your leprechaun name, Enrico, is Weebit Potfiller.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you would definitely come in handy during,
Well, let's maybe just move on from that.
in the winter. Pot filler. I'm thinking of pothole filler, right?
Oh, that's where you were going. Okay. Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was a bedpan joke or something.
Yeah, I was going there too.
All right.
Oh, I can't wait.
Little slice of our St. Patty's Day special there. I forgot also we had Enrico Lopez Yanez, the conductor, on that episode as well by phone. So that was a fun episode. We did have a St. Patrick's Day quiz. I'm going to tell you your name in just a minute, Vanessa. Okay, our St. Patrick's Day quiz. What do leprechauns traditionally make? Is it gold, pipes, or shoes? 1, 2, or 3. A, B, C.
Shoes.
Is shoes? Yeah, totally shoes. Who got that? Zach? Merwin?
Zach
did you
and
get it?
Vanessa.
I did.
You got Vanessa?
I did.
Yeah, we did.
Did
We
you?
said at the same time. Yeah.
All right, excellent. Vanessa's on the board. Zach is still in the lead. Vanessa.
I got one. No. Mm-mm.
You got one on
So
the
here's your
you got
Irish
the
name.
garbage bags.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
she got
yeah,
garbage
you
bags.
got another
Okay.
one. Well, I'm not keeping track. I rarely keep track of
This
this.
is how I never win.
As we all know. Okay, so Vanessa, you shall henceforth be known as Sprinkles O'Knuckles. Sprinkles O'Knuckles. That's hard to say. Sprinkles O'Knuckles. And I did do Elaine's name just on the off chance that he would be here, but he's not, so we can totally say it. Elaine is Greenie O'Shivers. Okay?
Okay.
Such a Canadian name.
Yes, it's a Canadian St. Patrick's Day.
Wait, aren't you Tweedle Greentooth?
I am Tweedle
And
Greentooth.
he's Greenie O'Shivers?
Yeah. Maybe
So your
related
celebrity crush
somehow.
would be Tweedle Greenie O'Shivers.
Something like that.
Tooth.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Sprinkles. Wow, Sprinkles and Knuckles. I feel like that would be the tough leprechaun who would be like
Sprinkles and Knuckles.
you would not want to cross Sprinkles.
Yeah, totally.
Or else you'll get Knuckles.
Or
Knuckles to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No sprinkles, no knuckles. We'll try to avoid both of those during the course of the podcast.
I feel like you're ordering
today.
a sundae.
The leprechaun special. No sprinkles, no knuckles, especially knuckles. We don't want any knuckles on that.
But
Sunday.
this talk of food does make me think back to that wonderful episode we did before Thanksgiving with Mary Bellew. And
oh, yeah.
I never walked out of the studio more hungry than I did then.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of great recipes there, which I haven't tried. But
And cocktails.
And cocktails as well. I haven't tried those either, so hoping to maybe next Thanksgiving, we can roll around and see how we did, right?
Okay.
Zach, let me ask you, let's get back in discussion mode here and talk a little bit more about some of the stuff that went on in 2021, because, this is ostensibly best of 2021. So, what can you talk about that happened that you are proud of, or maybe something that happened in the classical music world, just something that made a lasting impression on you over the past year?
Well, on a couple levels, I have some reminiscence. The thing that we really saw happen in this industry was, I think, the reawakening of music and entertainment, and that happened differently in different parts of the country and in different cities and within organizations. So it was one of those moments when I think we got to look around, certainly in the 2021 phase season, to think about the role we were really carrying as a torch for a lot of people who were missing orchestras in their own hometowns. And we saw so much engagement on our streaming platform because of that. People from almost every state in the country and 30 plus countries around the world were watching our performances, and it just kind of created that opportunity to, in a vacuum, play for the world. And that's an enormous responsibility, but it's something I think our musicians did with incredible grace. And I was very proud of that, and I remain very proud of that. But then as we come back into these normal-ish days where things are more familiar, we get to see some of the conventions that we had last year relax, but for good reasons. We've taken a lot of precautions, but seeing the orchestra come back together and literally come closer together, removing some of the distancing requirements, and doing so because we've taken a lot of precautions and safeguarded a lot of our musicians. But hearing the additional musicians that could create space for on the stage, hearing the low brass come back, hearing the color palette of the orchestra kind of return, it made me have just very emotional responses to this. And I think what I'm trying to say very clumsily here is that the entire experience of that COVID season helped us to endure, but then on the other side of that endurance, I think music matters differently to me than it did 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And at the first Masterworks in September of 21, hearing Enigma Variations, which I'll admit here, and anybody who's listening, please don't tell anybody this. Enigma Variations is not one of my favorite works, but I think I cried 3 times through that piece. Yeah. And it was paired so beautifully with photographs and quotes from the community. And then the performance after that with Rosenkavalier and the Wagner songs, I feel like I've just cried. I just keep getting moved to tears. And it's just, I think we're so hungry for this, and we remain so hungry for this, and we've all been through so much that it really, that tonal palette has just been hitting me in some really personal ways. So,
well, we've always talked on this podcast about the difference between a live performance and listening to a recording. The fact that you can be there with a community and be experiencing the music as it happens. I think that experience, that process, has obviously taken on a whole new significance and importance to audiences, not just here in the Toledo area, but everywhere, all over the globe. So I think as much as the performing arts community has suffered, it's also been put on people's radar as being more needful than ever, as something that we really need in our lives. So I think, kudos to the Toledo Symphony for, first of all, keeping the lights on in one form or shape or the other during the pandemic, but also for emerging and doing so in a responsible fashion. And hopefully, the world is going to follow suit with everything that's going on.
I'll jump in because I think there's a little bit of an irony in the moment that sticks out to me musically, because very much the year is about how we've reconnected with audiences in person and how I know certainly as a performer how much that means, but I think for me personally, it's not something I can share too many details about, but like the most meaningful performance for me was actually a virtual one, and being able to do a small chamber music performance, and realizing that music really is solace and healing. And for friends during the past year, that this was really important. And I think even as we're kind of speaking about what Zach was talking about, the kind of like increasing size and increasing scope and increasing numbers of people, for me, I was looking back kind of through those memories of that year, and that's the moment musically was a string quartet in a hall with a camera, and then knowing that meant something to somebody who was in an entirely different city.
Yeah, the experience not only of the audience but of the musicians that you're speaking to is so important with everything that we've done. I want to play another clip, and this kind of goes back to what Zach was talking about when we had Mary Bilyeu on, talking about Thanksgiving and all the wonderful food. We had the great singer Susan Platts come on. She did that wonderful performance of Das Lied von der Erde, the Song of the Earth, with the symphony.
Another tearful moment for me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's Mahler, so, that's your, right, there we go. There's your Mahler bell, Zach.
Ma bell.
One per episode. So Susan Platts, not just a fantastic singer, but also a foodie and somebody who published a cookbook, and she talked about this, and we had a little Mahler connection there. I want to play this clip here. So this cookbook is being published as we speak. Tell us some of the stuff that's in there, like you got any good chocolate recipes in there?
I do. Okay, so along with a lot of British classics like sticky toffee pudding and Battenberg and Bakewell tart, I
have no idea what those
came
are.
up with a dessert, and I've called it a Mahlerwürfel. Now, okay, I have to explain the background, which I do in the book. A few years ago, my husband and I did a very nerdy Mahler tour to Europe, and we traveled around all of the composing huts where Mahler composed his music. And we started our tour in Salzburg, and somebody had said to us, when you're there, all the shops have Mozartkuchen. Don't have the Mozartkuchen. Go to this specific cafe and have something called a Bachwürfel. And Würfel translates to cube. So it was this little cube of yum. It was a layer of marzipan and a sort of chocolate ganache and a liqueur ganache covered in chocolate. And it was heavenly. So when I came home, you can only get them in Austria. So when I came home, I tried to recreate this little dessert that we'd had. And I did something that I was pretty happy with. And so then when I wrote the cookbook, I wanted to include it. And I thought, well, I can't call it a Bachwürfel because that's already taken. And I love Mahler's music, so I'll call it a Mahlerwürfel. And I added to it a layer of jam, because apparently Mahler really liked his jam, and he would have like a different flavor every day or something. So that's one of my proud moments. But then somebody pointed out to me, ironically, Würfel is spelled Wurfel, and of course there's Alma Würfel. So I was like, oh, I didn't name it Fearful, but it's Verful. So anyway,
Very
that's
Verful,
my
Verful.
Mahler story.
I was
That's-
going to make that joke. I thought it might
That's
be.
marvelous.
I'm all
Lord.
about
Mahler.
Yeah,
I can't even say.
If anybody got any more
Mahler-
puns on Mahler, I want to
Mahler
hear them now.
Merlade. You could call. Oh, there we go. Mahler Merlade. That would be
Mahler
not
Merlade.
jam,
Oh, there it is.
but Mahler Merlade.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely ring the Mahler bell for that little clip.
Can
Boy,
you-
you must have been in heaven, Zach.
I was. I'm sorry. I'm listening back through that and having this kind of rare moment to
that
remember
one of those
exactly what
retreats?
happened here. So after the performance of Das Lied, I was with Susan and she gave me a small box, and it was a little brown paper box, and it had a little window in the top with a glimpse into the Mahlerwerfel inside. And there was a sticker on the outside that said Mahler, and it closed and sealed the box. So she put a lot of effort into this.
Wow.
Awesome.
And it might be the coolest, certainly the most delicious, but the coolest coolest present, that anybody's ever given me. It was really so thoughtful.
How long did it
That's
last?
so funny because I got like 15 of them.
How long did your Mahler-Würfeln last?
The temptation was to eat them both in the car ride home, but I was sound enough of mind to share them with my wife. But
I
then
was gonna say.
she said, you can have them. They're Mahler. So I did.
Oh, so you had them both.
I did.
All right.
Yeah. They
Well
were delicious.
They were
played.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Well played.
I want to live my life in such a fashion that somebody talks about me for any reason at any time the way Susan Platts talks about Mahler-Würfel.
Excellent. Find somebody who talks about you the way that
Hey guys, I'm still not giving up on I can't even say it anymore.
Mahler Malade.
There we go.
I'm
Malade.
gonna make that.
Mahler Malade.
Mahler Malad.
What flavor?
Mahler Malade. Of
flavor?
course, orange.
You don't want to
Orange, yeah.
say Mallard, though, because then that's like a duck thing, right?
Okay.
Or Mahler confit, I guess.
I have no idea what his feet
Yes,
were like.
that means
Yeah.
with feet. Okay. Let's move on, shall we?
Please do.
Okay, this is the last installment of our quiz. All right, so get that music up here. Our little sneaky quiz music. This was from the episode about Shakespeare called Musical Tales of the Bard. Musical Tales of the Bard, and the quiz that we did was coined by Shakespeare. So I gave you 3 different words, and you would tell me which one of those was made up by Shakespeare. Right? So if I said bump, lump, and blister, which of those was made up by Shakespeare?
Bump.
A bump, indeed. Oh, you remember this one. So that one goes to Zach. How about bedroom, kitchen, or dungeon?
Bedroom.
Bedroom. That goes to Merwin. All right, Vanessa, here's your chance. Sausage, anchovy, or pepperoni? Which one of those came from a Shakespeare play?
Sausage.
No, sorry.
I think it's.
Whoops. There we go.
Was it pepperoni?
No, sorry.
Anchovy.
Anchovy it is.
Anchovy.
Oh, no, Vanessa got it.
Yeah, we'll give it to Vanessa.
It's okay. I don't need your
Pity
Your
points.
pity
Yeah, I don't need
anchovies.
your
Pity points. Okay. Forces of Nature. Remember Forces of Nature with Matt Killam from the Metro Park?
Oh, I love that
I'm pretty
episode.
sure I won
Yeah.
this quiz.
Yeah.
We
I'm
did the
pretty sure.
collective nouns
Let's
quiz.
see if you do it
Yeah.
again. Oh,
Yeah,
you
okay.
ruled
Yeah.
that quiz.
I did.
All right, let's put it to the
All right.
test.
I
I've got
couldn't get a word in edgewise.
Yep.
3
Yep.
of them here.
Okay,
So
here we
I'm
go.
going to say what the collective noun is first, and then I'm going to say 3 different groups of animals. You tell me which group of animals is actually defined by that collective noun.
Right.
So a juree of turkeys, a juree of squirrels, or a juree of bats. Turkeys, squirrels, or bats?
Bats.
No.
Ooh,
Squirrels?
I should have gotten it because I do love
flying
squirrels.
squirrels.
Okay, a cast of falcons, eagles, or hawks.
Thousands.
Cast of thousands.
Mahler 8.
No. What do you say, Vanessa?
Falcons, eagles, or hawks? Falcons.
All right, Vanessa, your reputation is coming back online.
Gee, thanks.
All right. A mischief of mice, a mischief of moose, a mischief of meerkats. Mice, moose, or meerkats?
Meerkats.
Not
Mice.
meerkats. It is mice. A mischief of mice. Oh, Vanessa, you got 2 out of 3 there. That's pretty good. All right, moving soliloquies with our friend Michael Lang. And we had named that soliloquy, right? So I had a phrase from a soliloquy, Shakespearean soliloquy. You had to name the play. So if I said, "My mistress with a monster is in love," do you know what play that is?
Taming of the Shrew.
No. How about "I kiss the walls whole, not your lips at all"?
Midsummer Night's Dream.
Midsummer Night's Dream, yes, Merlin. Way to go. I'll give you one more of these. Listen to many, speak to a few.
I think that was Merwin's New Year's resolution.
I was just thinking it was our podcast.
Something like that.
Merwin gets a point for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so.
Hamlet.
Yes, that is Hamlet. Once again, Merwin fulfilling the prophecy of who shall win the quiz.
I'm
Okay.
still behind on this one. I think I am fulfilling the prophecy entirely right.
Our last question. Art and music collide. Remember that? That was when we had Mike Deach on from Toledo Museum of Art. And they also had this bird exhibit going on at the Art Museum. So the quiz was an Ornithology 101 quiz. Which of these statements is true about flamingos? They eat with their heads upside down, they lay 1 egg per year, or they can live as long as a human. A, B, C, D, or E?
I'm going to go with A.
A?
Well, we were in concert.
Yeah.
No, I was there.
Keep trying.
All of the above.
It is all of the above.
I do think living as long as a human is kind of a very
Well, I mean,
inexact science.
There's a wide range.
There is definitely a wide range.
No, but okay. For an example, there was a flamenco in Australia.
Wait, a flamenco or a flamingo?
A flamingo.
Okay, those are
in
very different
Australia.
things.
Yeah, so I had an Australian accent, South Australia. Okay, and there was an 83-year-old flamenco
Aww.
that lived in Australia.
But how is this flamenco?
Well, you know, if we were on TV, I could show you, but we're on radio, so I just
Wait, did you just shoot me the bird?
do a little flamenco.
I just saw a video on Instagram of a baby flamingo learning how to stand on one leg for the first time, and it was so cute.
Really? I mean, was it just trying on its own, or
Yeah.
was there a mother trying to help it?
There was an adult around. I don't remember if the adult was providing any assistance or encouragement, but it didn't matter. It was cute.
Fascinating.
I want to talk to that 83-year-old flamingo to see what kind of life it's had.
Exactly. Tell us about some flamingo history.
Well, let's see here before the war.
I remember when I first learned to stand on one leg.
This idiot with the camera kept taking video of me.
Yeah. Oh, well. Okay. We got anything else we want to talk about? Actually, I do have one more clip, and it's a nice way to wrap up. I'm not even going to touch trying to go through and figure out who won this quiz, because I've got so many M's and Z's and a few V's mixed in here that...
All the V's stand for Vassar, just so you know. Yeah.
Exactly. We're going to run out of time, but I do have one more clip, and this comes from the episode that we did last summer. It was at the end of last season, but still in the middle of 2021, called "Where Do We Go From Here?" Mm-hmm. When your friend Jeff from Saul came and joined us. Jeff is the executive director of the Spokane Symphony. You guys knew each other from before, and you had a conversation about, what do we do now at the end of this last season, right? Zach, you had some stuff to say towards the end, so I just want to play that as sort of as we go out here. Where do you see things, let's say a year from now? If a year ago today you were asked, where would we be a year from now? Would you see yourself where we are? Let's move that down one more year. Vanessa's over there with her slide rule trying to figure out what I'm talking about.
I was told there'd be no math.
Yeah. If you, okay. Let's just say goodbye. See you next week. Everybody, just quickly tell us where you see us a year from now.
Well, if I think about where we are right now, 12 months ago, I would love to have been where we are right now. I think we've kind of shot beyond the 12-month vision. I think we've done a lot this year. I think it's exhausted us for all the reasons we've talked about today.
Yeah.
A year from now, if I had to put my bet out there, I'd say that we will prove ourselves to be much more elastic than we expect. And we've shown that elasticity through the last year in all the ways that we've adapted. But I think we will actually want to spring back very quickly to our before times. But the after time is going to be different because we're all going to take a little bit from this time. So I think that we will be doing performances. I think we'll have many more people in the hall. I think we will see ourselves also thinking about our community and our case much differently than we have, even though those are things that we often talk about. But I think this is going to give us a very sincere and credible way to address the art form and address what we are responsible for in the Toledo area.
Very nice. So, Zach, 2022, Zach, do you agree with 2021, Zach?
I do. I do. I feel like we've, we all took something away from isolation, and in the way that we all want to run out and get back to where we were, but we're not all racing at the same pace. I think that there's a lot more that we can and will do, but it is about community. Being so separated from one another and from all of our listeners for so long, it definitely creates that sincerity of re-engagement.
This program is a production of WGTE Public Media in collaboration with our sponsor, the Toledo Symphony, with generous support from the Rita Barber Kern Foundation. You can download episodes of our program as a podcast by going to our website at wgte.org/lab. You can also subscribe to us through your podcast app of choice, including Apple and Google Podcasts. Remember, you can check out all the upcoming events at the Symphony by visiting their website at toledosymphony.com and their various social media outlets on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find the TSO's streaming platform online at stream.artstoledo.com. My thanks to Zach Vassar, Merwin Sue, and Vanessa Gardner. I'm Brad Cresswell, and you've been listening to Toledo Symphony Lab from FM 91.